started. We kind of agreed on a little order, and Cindy can kind of tell you. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to talk, sort of just introduce you to our faculty, our different credential programs, talk to you about the new MAT program and how that works with the credential, and then each of our three different program areas, and then we'll talk about the application process and have a question and answer period. So our faculty, so this is our chair, Dr. Deidre Sessoms. Unmi Cho is here, and she coordinates the mild to moderate program as well as the mild non-dual credential program with multiple subjects. And I'm Kathy G. I coordinate the moderate severe program and the moderate severe dual credential program. And this is Cindy Collado, and she coordinates the early childhood special ed program. This is Dr. Gunsberger, another professor in the moderate severe area, Dr. Eric Clarabal, Dr. Elva Duran, Dr. Rachel Gonzalez, and Dr. Gemma Kwan, this is her first year with us, so that's really, this is like her brand new, and Eric has been here 2 years now. This is the second year, and Cindy had her third year. So why be a special education teacher? We thought we would share with you why we came into special education, and then maybe ask you, and instead of doing a pair share, we might, since there's only 5 of you, you can just share with all of us why you chose this particular field. I know I chose it because I got started as an undergraduate doing volunteer work in a couple of different programs and just fell in love with it. I was working with kids with developmental disabilities and, just worked with a wonderful teacher who was such a good role model that that's definitely what pulled me into the field.
Mm-hmm. For me, I was in high school, so I was part of the Best Studies program, and we had lunch with, we did not have a very inclusive high school, so we would have lunch with the students with developmental disabilities on campus, and we would go out and do community activities like bowling and go to dinner, and that was some of the most fun I had in high school. And then when I went to my undergraduate, I did some summer camps as well to make sure that this was the field I wanted to go into. And it certainly was.
Okay, my case is kind of unique. I don't know how to say, but I began as my career as a gen ed teacher in South Korea with 65 students, and 5 of them have different kinds of disabilities, and I didn't know what to do with them, and so I started to learn how to teach these students with the differentiated instruction. That's the journey that I began. So I taught gen ed for 8 years. Then I wanted to teach actually in special education, so I taught 8 years in special education. And I started as a SH. At that time, it is a moderate to severe program. So I taught very profoundly, just students with profound disabilities, with a lot of intellectual disabilities as a SH teacher. Then I moved to LH, which is a mild moderate program. So my career was like gen to moderate to severe and then mild. So now I'm coordinating and teaching mild classes. That's how I began the special education.
So our teaching credential program, some important facts to know. We do have a rigorous curriculum, but it's a curriculum that really values inclusive schooling, social justice, and equity. So we really believe strongly that all children with disabilities have the right to be included in our general education classrooms, and that we as special ed teachers need to collaborate with our general ed partners to make sure that that can be successful. We have very productive relationships with teachers and schools and districts, and that's why when you notice that you mentioned a particular school or a district, we all know where our graduates have gone, and so we know we have kind of a nice network of graduates from our programs that we can now tap into as mentor teachers, and some of you are probably working for them right now. So our teacher candidates spend more time in classrooms and more field-based and competency-oriented than most other training programs in this area. So the coursework and the field experiences are very closely connected, much more so I would say than some of the other credential programs in the area. We have just a very, very strong faculty. I just briefly introduced you to them and showed you their pictures, but we have a very strong faculty that are very sort of prepared in evidence-based practices and sort of high-quality instruction. We also know that our graduates are really valued by principals and directors of special ed. In fact, we can never fill all the positions that they have for us. We are trying to make our programs bigger and get more graduates out there, but the special ed directors really contact us first. They say, do you have anybody for us? And then they kind of work their way through to other programs. But we are very anxious to try to fill as many of those positions as we can so we get high quality teachers out there for kids with disabilities. So this is our mission. The Teaching Credentials branch prepares socially just teachers and teacher leaders to be agents of change, committed to equity and inclusion in culturally and linguistically diverse schools and communities. So we really want you to have experiences that are going to be just like, so in your student teaching, that are going to be like what the jobs that you'll take out there. And we hope that you'll work with schools that have challenges and that you'll be that part of systems change for making education more equitable for all children. All of our programs integrate the English learner authorization, so when you get your credential here, you don't have to add on another authorization. So we all prepare, and both the mild, mod, and moderate severe programs prepare people to work with autism, and so does early childhood special ed, obviously. So we also have a bilingual authorization, and right now, correct me if I'm wrong, that's in both Spanish and Hmong, right?
Only two, yeah.
Yeah, just two. So we do have one special moderate severe person who is also going to get her Hmong bilingual authorization, and so that's definitely something you can do both. And so there's sort of we'll send you these slides based on your email addresses so that you can have all these different names and links to different people. So if you are a bilingual person and you think that those jobs are very much in demand. So districts are always looking for people who are bilingual. Okay, I'm going to actually before I think Umi is going to take this part on, right?
Okay. So well, let's go back to the bilingual candidates that we just had a meeting with Associate Superintendent of the Davis Joint Unified School District a couple of days ago. He said there are 250, if I do not quote the correct information, 250 teachers or IAs, but only one person speaks Spanish. That was very interesting for me to hear. As a former resident in Davis for 23 years,
Right.
There were over 40 different languages.
And there are Spanish immersion programs there as well. So I know one of our current first-year students is a paraprofessional. She's bilingual Spanish, and she's a paraprofessional at a school where they have kids with special needs included, but they're also doing Spanish immersion. So.
Yeah. Dual immersion program. Okay, so let's move along to why then Sacramento State University, not others, right? So, we started MAT, which means that you will get into the program with an assumption that you will get a master's degree as well. So you will be completing credential first, and then add your MA portion of courses. During the summer, one course, and then while you're teaching as a classroom teacher, you will come back and then you're going to take 2 semesters of MA courses. And then 15 units of your credential courses will go into your MA program. So which means it's a MAT most students will take advantage of getting the credential as well as master's degree. So that's what we call MAT. Janet already began, and then we are starting also in special education. Yes.
So I have a question about that. Is that only for the special education credential, or is that for every credential that you guys
Every
have?
credential
Every
in
credential.
our
You can
college.
do the master's part with every credential.
Yes.
But if for some reason
Right.
at the end of your teaching credential program, you're like, oh my gosh, it's my first year
Yeah.
teaching,
Yeah.
I don't think I want to be in school right
Right.
now, you can take a break for
Yeah.
a semester or two and then come back and finish your master's.
Right.
You just
Okay.
have to kind of keep
Yeah.
informing your coordinator
Okay.
of your plans. And some people may decide, oh, I don't even want the
Right.
master's,
Yeah.
and that's okay, it's not like you're forced to
You can
finish
opt
it.
out.
Yes.
You can opt out from the MAT program
Okay.
and focusing only on credential program that you will be choosing. So, I mean, you think about the tuition in this area. And I had a one candidate could not take a specific course. You guys will be cohorted, which means that, course sequence is still there. So you will take each course is based on the program plan that we will be helping you develop together. One student with the reason that she could not take one specific course, so I sent her to, go to the national because it's right there, and then take it and then bring it so that you can get a equivalency. It was almost 1,300 for one unit.
Oh my goodness.
Here, you are taking over about 4,300 now, 4,300. It's as a full, time status. So after 12 units, you are full-time student status. You can take 25 units. If you can do it, which you will. I know most of you will be doing it because there as a student teaching, the units are bigger than the coursework unit. So you will have more than 20, sometimes 15 to 25. So that's happening in our program, but you pay only one, tuition to take that many classes. And almost all of our students get a very substantial financial aid. And as well as we are very famous for the scholarships in this area. So spring semester, most students apply and then they get the scholarships. It's not a loan, it's a money that you just get it and then use it without paying back. And again, it's a cohorted program. It's a small core groups. So that's why our program is very well known about the quality control. We don't want to have a big program and they're losing the control. So we wanted to maintain our quality program. So a small cohorted program and constant support structure throughout the program. You will be assigned a academic program advisor. So everybody will have an academic program advisor, as well as you will have a program, a coordinator. So your academic advisor will be meeting with you at least once per semester. More is better, not without, not with the troubles, right? But, constructively we meet regularly with our students so that we can monitor your progress as well as support what you need. And again, start right there, advocate. In this area, we are the social change agent in this area. So that's what we are very well known. That again, as Dr. G said, we are the socially justice teachers who knows how to include all children. When we say all children, means all children, regardless of the degree of disabilities or whatever language they speak, will help them and continue your professional development. A lot of our cooperating teachers, we used to call master and mentor teachers, our own graduates. That's where we go first, right? So you have as a city, we have PD, professional development opportunities ongoing, and also evening classes. We understand. I'm your alumni if you come to our program because I was here 6 years as a student. I understand you have 3 kids. I had a 3 when I was getting through. We all did that, right? So taking care of children and teaching full time or working whatever instructional assistant job. So we worked full time, but come here. So that's why we offer courses from 4 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. Monday through usually Thursday. If we have an exception, then sometimes we have to have a Friday morning course, but not regularly. It's just exception. So courses will be evening classes, and we also try to consider your travel here. So we just wanted to have a back-to-back courses so that you come 2 days or 3 days per week. Okay, so you're not going to be here Monday through Friday every evening. No. Okay. All right. So a new MHE blended teaching credential program pending approval. We're going to pass it out because it's approved, which I didn't even know. Right. So okay. It's a new.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just skip. We already talked about that, right? Yeah. Okay. And then blended math credential program options. So do you still want me to keep going? Okay. Yeah.
I think just the specialist.
Specialist. Okay.
Yeah.
So we wanted to provide inclusions, practices, and in theory as well as practices. So which means what we believe in, it will be shown in our courses. So to provide inclusive education so that we can improve the quality of all children's, all students' lives in this area, regardless of their, again, degree of the disabilities and also their families. We adopted that new way, education specialist. And it's for MAD dual, it's a 4-semester program and moderate to severe. Do we have a separate slide for that?
It'll come later.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I'm gonna just move along. So we have you guys have 3 options, actually 5 options to choose from. So we have let's go by the age, right? ECSE, which means the Special Education Credential, but teach the young children, right? And then we have a mild mod credential, and also you can add multiple subject credential together. It's a 2-year program. So 4 semesters, you will get a mild mod credential as well as multiple subject credential. And then we have a moderate to severe, same thing, a little bit longer.
The
Yeah,
most
a
severe
little bit
program is
longer.
4
Yeah,
semesters.
yeah,
You have to remember it's a kindergarten through age 21 credential, so we have to prepare you
right,
from a very wide age range as well as a
right,
wide kind of range of kids with different kinds of disabilities.
Right.
So that's a 4-semester program, and what some of our students do is if they want to add the multiple subject credential, they take a few extra classes.
right.
And then in the spring of their 2nd year, they do their multiple subject student teaching. And then in the fall of the 3rd year, they take a job as a mod severe intern teacher and finish up their their mod severe as an intern. So if you want the dual credential in either mild mod or mod severe, I would just encourage you to identify that early. We have to get your sequence organized. And the mild mod only is 3 semesters, right? Or is it 4?
Only right now, it depends on.
Okay.
If you already have other credential, it will be shorter. If you do not have any credential, but you want only mild, it can be 3. Yes. Yes.
And the mild mod is kindergarten through
21
also.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now with the, if you were to do the multiple subject and the special education,
Mhm.
you can still add the masters
Yes.
on top.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
and
it's-
there's just
yeah.
one master's. You wouldn't have to get a master's for general ed and a master's for tech.
Cool. Yes. Yes.
Thank goodness for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So we have some brave students who are working for dual and then add moderate to severe as well. So they come into one program and then they add another specialist credential. So they do it. I did it as a student myself. I got all the credentials. And so she mentioned about the inter-credential options, right? So let's talk about the intern. Not from the beginning, but mostly at the end of your whole program, you are ready to be in the classroom 1 foot as an employee of the school district. So you are fully responsible for what's happening in the classroom as an intern teacher. And then 1 foot is at the university as a student. Not easy. So only exemplary performing students will be able to get an intern request approved. Whenever you request that I want to be the intern teacher to make money, then you need to get through all EDSP faculty as well as chairs unanimous approval. Okay, so not all of you want to or will be interns.
There's also a certain number of courses you have to take according to the California Teaching Commission. So you have to, like for our program, and I think it's true for Dr. Cho's too, that you would pretty much need to take the first year of courses and be supervised at least 1 semester to get approved so that in the second year of the program you could be an intern. Yeah, so that's usually when our students apply, either in the 3rd or 4th semester.
Yes. Okay, so I think we went over for the moderate severe, those are 3, and then actually 5 options, including the dual credential program. And
Just say
So
there's
just-
coursework
yeah.
after.
So, you will be, I'm very familiar with my own program, so let me talk about the Marmot dual credential candidate. They come in fall semester, right? And then by the 3rd semester, they complete their multiple subject credential. By 4th semester, they either be, being an intern. Right now, a lot of them are interns at the 4th semester, and then also some students are just taking classes and completing student teaching. So at the end of the 4th semester, they completed 2 credentials. Now, you're gonna take 5 classes that we designated as a faculty toward your master's program, which the following summer, which is that you completed spring semester, and then you're gonna take 1, which is a 281 6-unit course, the following summer. Again, Dr. G said, if you, whatever reasons that you don't want to continue right away, you can take a break and then come back later. But we assume that most candidates will continue because probability is higher if you just keep continuing, right? So 6 units, so 1 course you will be taking the summer, right after your graduation. Then most of you will get a job, either gen ed or special ed. You are teaching. As a new teacher, you're gonna come back to take a 282, 283, and then Master of Arts thesis, which you're gonna write a paper, research paper with us. So there will be sponsoring faculty for you to complete this, and there will be MAT coordinator who will be helping you to get through this master's portion of your program. Then 3.5 years later, or a little 1 semester longer, you're gonna get 2 credentials and 1 master's degree. And then your scale for your salary will go really up, right? Because your salary will be decided based on your units. They have to push back.
Can I just add
Okay.
that the thesis is an action research project, so in the fall, in your 282 course, we'll help you design that and kind of get that all ready and get through human subjects approval and all of that. And you'll have designed your project. And then in your spring course, critical analysis, the instructor will help you analyze the data.
Right.
And then your job is to write up the thesis, okay?
Right.
So.
And then you will be in classroom as a classroom teacher. Action research means that you will use your own subject, which is the students or environment at your school where you will be teaching. So you don't have to go somewhere to research, to complete.
So you study something with your own students.
Right. Okay.
All right.
clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, okay. And another color
I
page?
think we're gonna, yeah, that's just a cover page.
Okay,
So,
so,
yeah, we're gonna,
yeah,
So I'll start off, so we're gonna talk about our individual programs, and then we'll move into how do you actually do the application process, okay? So if you have a question about each of our programs, then stop us and ask questions about those programs.
Okay.
So I am the Early Childhood Special Education Program Coordinator, and this program is preparing you to teach birth to 6 years old for students with mild to significant disabilities. So in the early childhood world, we don't have a mild, mod, and mod severe. We cover all disabilities. And what we're focusing on, you're wearing two hats in this world. One is you're prepared to be an early intervention teacher, which is birth to 3. And that means that you would work, if that was the job you wanted to see, you'd be working with infants and toddlers, but mostly with their families. So the model that is best practice right now in the field is that we coach families to work with their children at home, because the old model was you'd fly in 1 hour a week, and that doesn't really sustain change. So it's better if the families are coached. And so you'll be learning how to coach families. That's one of your student teaching experiences. And then the other student teaching experience is focusing on being a preschool teacher. So we do focus on inclusive practices. So what would it look like if you were working co-teaching with a gen ed teacher? We round everything in developmentally appropriate curriculum. So what does a typical preschool teacher teach? So it's great to have a child development background, but we also prepare others from other backgrounds. We have students that are speech and language pathologists background, or we have career changers. We have a variety. And we actually have a lot of parents raising children with disabilities as well. They become interested in this program. And so but we also train, we know the reality is that not all programs out there, preschool programs, are inclusive programs. So we make sure that you know how to teach in these autism programs or whatever program you might be in for the reality, and then help you advocate for change as well. So those are the two student teaching experiences. We are a distance learning program, and that means that if you are, so most of the program is fully online. So I teach classes in Zoom, I sit at my desk, you sit at your computer at home, and we join this video conferencing program, and it feels like we're in a classroom. It's amazing the relationships we build. So this is different than another online program where you would typically just submit discussion board comments every week. You don't feel like you are connected, and so it's completely different. We build relationships, and we have activities outside of class. We just did the Step Up for Down Syndrome walk on Sunday, so a lot of us met to do things in the community so we can build further relationships. But for some of the classes, if we teach them across our programs, and so those programs that are taught by other faculty, you might come to campus if you live within 30 miles. So if you live within 30 miles for about 4 or 5 classes, I think, you would come to class or to campus, or you'd Zoom in if you're more than 30 miles. Yes?
Do they count your house or your work? My work is way farther from my house.
It depends. I mean, it's a case by case.
Okay.
So we do have some people that we have exemptions to the rule. So we have one who is taking care of an alien parent, and so she can't leave home, and so she is living in Roseville, and she's Zooming in for those classes. If it's your work, then most likely it's your work that's the issue coming from work, and so it's probably your work that would do it. But it is an individual basis. But generally, it's the 30-mile rule for local students.
Do you follow the after 4 convention even with Zoom classes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Just double checking.
Yeah. So a lot of them, most of them are 4:30, and some are 4 o'clock.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so it's like 2-3 nights a week that they have classes. The career paths, like I said, it's early intervention specialist. If you fall in love with that, some people are already doing some. They're like paras in the early intervention world, so you do home visiting. And then, or preschool special education teacher, and then these others that you can be as well once you become more skilled. And then let's see, intern options. So a lot of my students are interns. There's a lot of preschool vacancies. So a lot of them are coming in with emergency permits. So they're getting a job, They can't be an intern, so there's an emergency permit with the school district, and then there's internship through Sac State. So you can't be an intern until your second semester with the ECSE credential. But if you have your emergency permit, it's for 1 year, and so a lot of our students are either paraprofessionals or an emergency permit, or their parents at home raising their children. Everyone's so different, or taking care of an aging parent.
When you say permit, are you referring to like the associate teacher permit, those kind of things?
Oh, not the child permit, no,
Okay.
like the preschool
For
child.
the for the
Well, I do have, one of my students is on a child permit, and she's a preschool teacher in Head Start. But what I'm referring to is emergency permit to be early child special ed teacher. So that's a preschool teacher on a child permit. This is early child special ed teacher because the district has a lot of vacancies and they're trying to fill it. So they give you a 1 year, it's called a STIP or a PIP.
Yes.
So there's 2 options, yeah.
It's a short-term permit.
Yeah, and they won't give it to you unless you commit and you're
Right.
enrolled in a program, typically, because it's only once in your lifetime for both of those.
Yeah.
You know, like 1 year.
And the districts kind of do those more last minute because they're trying to get qualified interns or fully qualified teachers first, and then, you know, when they have vacancies kind of at the end of the summer, they start to offer
Yeah.
permits.
Kathy's right, the districts I've heard from Roseville, they were incessant this summer in contacting me about finding people. So I spread the word to my students, but I only have so many. So we can't fill all of them. I've heard from Natomas, I've heard from San Juan, Davis, Elk Grove, they all reach out to us, and so I just feel like our students have like first pick in these jobs.
I asked because I have my associate teacher permit, and there's like a high need for preschool teachers. Is that what you're saying? Is that all you need to be a preschool?
No.
So all of these are post-baccalaureate programs. So that means you have to have your bachelor's degree. Very different than the child permit, which you don't need your bachelor's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this
Got
is
Looking.
yeah, I know, it's a very, because in other
The
states
the
though, you need
terminology
a
is
credential.
Yeah.
confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I came from Illinois where I taught in inclusion preschool programs, and the early childhood teacher that taught with me had a credential. But in California, you just need your child permit, and I think it's equivalent to like associate's degree.
Yeah.
Mhm. So here, for early child special ed, it's got you. Other questions for my program? I'll say it's a 2-year program, including the summer. We do the infant and toddler student teaching as an option in the summer. Some are doing it this fall, so that if you have a full-time job during the year, then you can do the infant and toddler in the summer. And we work with your local school district. So we have worked with Solano County last year for Glenda, and so that you can stay in your local school district.
Nice.
Mhm.
Okay, next. Okay. Okay, so another program that, you know, out of 5 is a Marmot only, which means that you're going to have a next slide will be Marmot with multiple subjects. So I differentiate this one as a Marmot only, and then next slide is dual. Okay, so as you can see, with this Marmot teaching credential, you will be able to teach children starting from 5 years old to 21-year-old students, which means that after K through 12 public education, they leave, but we don't lose them because they will be most of them will be in transition high school when they go to college. While they're in college, up until 22 years old, then they get covered by the special education law, by the federal government, we call IDEA. So that's why it's a 5 to 21. And then you have a couple of, you know, pre-required courses before you come into the program, which means to get into 2020 fall semester, you will be applying this fall. No, not this spring, I'm sorry. This coming spring. The due date will be, the submission due will be April 1st and then April 15th. We're not gonna go there late, we're gonna go there later in detail, but just, you know, you will be applying. I wanted to just say about the prerequisite courses that if you want to come to our program fall 2020, you're gonna take these courses during summer, or after you get into our program, you'll be taking extra to complete this, 100, 170, and 136, these courses.
You can also take them in the spring.
Right, if you're
Yes,
currently a
yes.
student here, you could take them
You can
this
take.
spring if you can fit them into your program.
And then you don't have to pay extra. Let me just tell you that if you take these courses during summer, although we teach during summer, it's a kind of extra money they have to pay because it's not from our own college. It will be the College of Continuing Education, so that's why. And the program options, yes. Currently, in my moderate program, I operate 7 different programs. It's very, so Marma only, right? And then you have a Marma with a multiple subject. And then we have some intern program students to meet the needs of the local school district. Marma program opened the intern program 2018 summer, which means that we're not going to offer for your group, but we still have that program, which means about 13 students they came as an intern teacher from the beginning. So we had to prepare
But
that.
you guys don't need to worry about that.
Right, we're not gonna do that, right, so that's the one program, and then we talked about the intern credential program, right? And then we have another program, I just wanted to talk about it briefly, that how many of you are juniors in undergrad right now? Okay, we have another program through the MARMA program, which is the ACT, it's accelerated program. What's your BA major in?
Child development.
Child development, yeah. Child development BA plus one dual credential, which means MARMA plus multiple subject in a very short period of time. So maybe we can talk more later. So that's another option that we provide through the MARMA at this time. But in future, we're gonna add ECSE, matrix severe as well. So that's the programs that we offer. And again, this is depends on your individual background. It can be 2 semesters, it can be 3 semesters, it can be 4 semesters. So we have to look at your transcript. And then student teaching training, which means that mild, moderate only, you can do field work any places from 5 to 21, mild only program. But if you are adding, I'm doing 2 slides at the same time. If you are adding multiple subject, I'm gonna require to complete your multiple subject component from K through 8th grade. So you can even teach it at the middle school, okay? Student teach, but we cover various settings for students with these specific disabilities. It's a high incidence disabilities. So they will do a lot of co-teaching because if you get the MARMA credential only to go out, most of you will become a resource specialist, which means that you will be pushing in to different grade level and gen program. Sometimes you put out the students. That's what it is. And then career path, again, you're gonna be a SPED teacher as well as education consultant. Some of our graduates became inclusion specialists in local areas as well as evaluator. So there are a lot of different paths with this credential you can work with. Then adding the multiple subject credential. This one is a 4th semester courses, not including your pre-required courses. So same students, however, with this dual credential, you can teach in gen ed, you can teach in special ed. Currently, the trend I observe in our own program, 1/3 of our recent graduates go to gen ed first, and then see how they like it, and then they stay there as an also with another credential, but sometimes they move to special education and then see that. Because the reason that 1/3 of our candidates want to go to gen ed first is that they really want to be a gen ed teacher who understands inclusive practices. So they model, provide a lot of good, great examples at the site. Then if the inclusive practice is setting up as a gen ed, then they move to the special education. So, you can, with the 2 credentials, you can teach in gen ed, you can teach in special education, so, vice versa. And program options, as you can see, the pre-required course is the same, and intern options is there. And, I think I added it here, the active program that I talked about, you will be completing your child development BA along with the 2 credentials in 1 year less than the regular program that we offer currently. So it's a good deal for the students, okay? And then student teaching training, for your multiple subject credential, you're gonna be placed kindergarten to 8th grade, and then for mild disabilities, you will be placed in different areas. With the autism authorization, autism spectrum authorization with the mild credential, you will be also, some of our recent graduates have been teaching in special day class. We try to, more inclusive RSP learning center and then full inclusion models. But I understand that some of you also mentioned today that you are working in a special day class. So we still cover, because special education is a continuum of the services, okay? And the career path, with the 2 credentials, you can do back and forth, evaluator, education consultants. So I noticed a lot of our high number of our graduates from the dual credential, they become our, inclusion specialists in this area to make a strong impact on general education as well as special education as well. Okay, yes.
So with the child development BA and the dual credential, how is that compatible with the master's degree one? Are you
It's
able
the
to
same
do
as,
all of them?
yeah,
Okay.
same as we programmed the way that it is MAT as well.
Okay.
It's exactly the same program, yes.
I was curious if the internship option, I have 2 questions actually. So the internship option could be either in a gen ed classroom or a special ed classroom, does it matter?
Internship, yes,
Yeah.
okay. 4 semesters, so you will get exposed to gen ed and then special ed while you are in our program. At the end, you're gonna decide where I want to go to teach. However, current program, for you to be an intern, it has to be special education classroom, okay?
And
Yes.
for the moderate senior, we've had people do internships in multiple subjects as well.
Okay.
So it kind of depends, you have to decide which do I want to do the internship in, and plan it with me around the order of
Yeah.
your student teaching experiences, so yeah.
Student teaching, you can choose, it's an
Yeah.
option.
Okay.
Yeah, field work, but intern teachers, mostly, I think that based on my 19 years of experience here, almost all of them get a job in special education. The needs are great in this area. Let me just tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I got a call from one of the HR director in this area that they needed 5, Marma teachers. We don't have graduates. So I told her that we don't have those, capacity, and she said, we are willing to have your candidate to be an intern teacher. So a lot of, I advised 2 of them today, they're gonna get an intern position as a students of our program currently. So a lot of them are getting the job as an intern teacher at the end. Okay, I know that you are looking at the time, so, okay, yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I would just add to what Dr. Cho said, that special ed is the biggest need right now.
Yes.
So I think it's nice to get the dual credential, but actually what people really want is moderate, severe, or mild, or early childhood special ed teachers. And there are also a lot of openings in single subject science and math. So those are the biggest need areas right now. But getting the dual credential gives you that option of maybe you teach in special ed a few years and then you decide, oh, you know, I want to do something different for a while, and then you have that option to do a multiple subject kind of position. So the moderate severe credential, just like the mild mod, prepares you for ages 5 to 21. So we really try hard to give you a wide range of age experiences, even if you say, oh no, I only want elementary. Sometimes we've found that once someone gets into a middle school or high school, they find out they love it. Or maybe they student teach in a transition program with 18 to 21-year-olds and they realize, oh my gosh, I love it, just like you like doing respite with adults, right? So it's always good to get experiences in different school districts and in different age groups, just to kind of see where you do your best, right? Prerequisites are Education 100 AB and Education 170. And as we've said before, you can take those during the spring semester if you're currently on campus and you're a student now, to try to fit those in, or you can take those in the summer. Or you can add them to your course load during the first year, but that might be a pretty heavy course load, so I'd encourage you to try to do that in the summer if you can. So when we say program options, these aren't really separate programs. You know, it's not, so if you're an intern, you take the same classes as all the other students, so everybody takes the same coursework, okay, and in the mod severe area. So if you become an intern in the second year, you're still going to be taking the same coursework. Although if you decide, hey, I've taken this full-time internship, it's a lot, then you could slow your coursework down if you wanted to and just take courses part-time while you're teaching full-time. So I mean, those kinds of options always exist to talking with your advisor, coordinator about that, because it is a lot to be a full-time teacher responsible for all the IEPs and the kids and everything, and then also going to school at the same time. So you really kind of have to think about that. We do also have, just specific to the low incidence disabilities, which is the moderate severe credential, we have an additional federal scholarship to provide that's about $10,000. That's all you have to do is promise to teach for 2 years for 1 year of funding. So during that second year, when you're doing a lot of days of student teaching, or you are in your first year and you're also a paraprofessional, and we can talk more about that, but that's a forgivable, it's like, it doesn't have anything to do with your financial aid, it's like an additional scholarship that we have specific because the field across the United States is so short of folks who have their moderate severe potential. Yeah.
And that's just specific to the moderate severe?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, so I mentioned the student teaching training, career paths, these are very similar, but I would say very few people graduate and then immediately become a consultant or an evaluator. That would usually be after several years of experience where you've demonstrated your skills in the field, and then you might move into that type of a role. Or maybe some of our grads have become instructional coaches and they go around and coach other teachers. They're employed by the district, but their role is to support other teachers who are struggling and need some more support. So that's a career path that you might move into. Again, we try to use our graduates as the student teaching mentor teachers. And if you do take an internship in that second year, we try to arrange for you to at least have several days where you can go observe another teacher in the field who's sort of a master teacher, so that you get more opportunities to observe and not just having to do it all by yourself. The other thing is, if you're a paraprofessional and you're going to keep your paraprofessional job in that first year of the program, we really have some standards that we want whoever you're working with, the special ed teacher that you're working for has to kind of agree to allow you to, have parent meetings, for example, meet with families. They need to, which is something that paraprofessionals often don't get to do traditionally. So the principal project or the special ed director and the mentor teacher need to sort of sign something that says, okay, I know that this person is now a teacher candidate, and so their role is gonna be changing while they're a paraprofessional, and we agree to that. They also have to support you to integrate students into general education classes. So we don't want to use special education classrooms that are completely separate and never spend time with general ed typical peers. So, and we don't do any student teaching placements in segregated schools, where a school is only kids with disabilities. That's just something we won't do because it's not evidence-based. So we're not gonna place you in a non-public school or a segregated school run by a county program, for example. Let's see. The dual credential is, we've already talked about that quite a bit. You would just be adding a few classes and then doing student teaching in multiple subject. And we're flexible on when you do that. So we would just plan that with you, but that would be in your last couple of semesters. And let's see, all of our programs share some coursework. So Cindy mentioned this earlier, there's like 4 classes that the mod severe candidates take with the early childhood candidates. And then there's some classes that our students take with mild moderate. For example, the literacy classes, the very beginning. Yeah, right. So, there is some overlap. So the nice thing is that if you did decide, hey, I want both the moderate severe and the mild moderate, right? Then we can figure that out for you because there's some overlapping coursework. What I would say is tell us that early on. It works better to finish your mod severe and add your mild moderate student teaching than reverse, just because we have more courses. So we have to plan it from the very beginning to make sure you're getting the right courses at the right time. So
I just wanted to add one thing here for the dual. Dual credential is one of the very popular programs in this area. Out of 23, I checked it, how many CSU campuses are offering this dual because it's expensive for the university, it's good for the students. So because you don't want to have a one credential and then go to another credential, add another credential, it's embedded as a one program. So it's kind of seamless that way we operate. So our local school district, HR directors or whatever the principals are very aware of Sac State's the famous dual credential program, and especially Myanmar because we are teaching in Janet, the most of times. So almost all candidates in Myanmar programs are in dual credential program.
any questions about the moderate severe credential program before we go on?
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the application process. So if you have questions, just stop me and ask, all right? So the application process is to become a public school teacher in California, there's 2 things you need to meet. One is that you prove you know what you will teach, so there's this test you have to take, and that the early child special ed program is exempt from that. So mild, mod, and mod severe, and then the other single and multiple subject, they have to do a subject matter competency, that's the CSET.
To see that.
Yes.
And now the integrated pre-credential people and liberal studies, they're waived that
Yes.
too, right?
Right.
There is a waiver, yeah.
And
So
you
you're in
also
that
take the
study.
CFAS. I don't know if that's.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
not
basic.
that.
But
That's
that's
one
just,
of the
that's to get
prereqs.
in, right?
Yeah, that's to get in. So that's what you will teach, and then you have to complete a preparation program, of course. That's why you're doing one of these programs, is how to teach. You have to prove how you know how to teach. So that's our programs. So then to prove subject matter competency, it's only for the mild, mod, and mod severe. You pass the standardized test. There's other options, but that's in our application form, so you can see it. Maybe you meet some of the other options. This is the most popular, the CSET. So, and this is not required for ECSE. Okay, so you can read the supplemental application. I'll show you where to find it, and you can look for other options. Yeah.
I signed up for all my CSETs, but they're like in December and like
Of this year.
of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, for whatever reason I don't pass and I have to take it again, is that okay when I'm doing an application? application.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would give them you would kind of write in the date that you're planning on taking it again.
Okay.
And you would be sort of preliminarily admitted, like probationary admit, until you.
Until I finish it, but I
Right.
have to finish it before I start the program.
Right.
Got
But
it.
I wanted to correct one thing in the
Yeah.
slide, where special ed teachers don't have to do the single subject content area.
Right.
If you're planning to teach in middle school or high school, you don't have to do the single subject or content. You would still do the elementary level.
That's what I,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I signed up for.
Yeah.
I'm going to clarify that you do not need to pass all 3 sections of the CSET before you come in,
Okay.
okay? As long as you pass at least one and then show that you will be taking it again,
Okay.
then we will accept you.
The preliminary.
Yeah, preliminary.
Okay.
And then while you are in the program, before we send out for student teaching, you must pass it. But for field experience course, you do not need to pass.
That's the reason why we have this slide is because you won't be able to get a credential unless you pass it.
Right.
So the scary
Right.
thing is, when you enter the program, if you continuously try to take it but you never pass it, but you pass our program, you still don't get your credential.
It's like
Right.
taking the RICO first.
Like
Yeah.
we pass.
Because you
Yes.
get through and then you fail the RICO
Yeah.
and you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the nice thing though is on our campus, we have free support for students that are on campus, but also interested students.
Yeah.
So ones that are applying to our programs, there's our Student Success Center, which is amazing. They provide a tutor, they give you practice tests.
Seminars.
If you are worried about taking the CSET or the CBEST, then I would highly recommend you access them and use them. So that's the only thing about being probationary is you run the risk of not passing those and then not getting a credential even though you spent the 2 years working on our program. Okay. But that's okay, there's still people in our program that are working on CBEST and
Yeah.
CSET. Okay, so the application is, there's cohorts beginning every fall semester, that's the full cohort, the full application. And so those are due, applications are available now on our website, and it's due April 1st. There's a 2-step process. So you need to get into our system, Cal State Apply, and that's nothing, it's just you have to pay a fee. And then the full application, April 15th, is the supplemental, which goes directly to our department. And those are the ones that we review. And so and I'll show you what the requirements are, that's a little more intense.
So Cal State Apply goes to the Office of Graduate Studies, and that's, and then this one comes to us in the teacher credential.
So there is a thing called spring conditional admits. So that's a spring semester early start. If you're not at Sac State, this is something you might apply for. They already passed, the applications were due October 1st. So that is, if you want to take the prereqs at Sac State, those courses, and you want to take it in the spring instead of the summer, then you would do that conditional admit.
Do we have a list of places, because my schedule is packed and I need my prereqs. So,
Of other places you can take it, like
yeah, do we
community
have a
college?
list of places where
Yes.
it's, you know?
I'll show you where.
On the
Yeah.
website,
Yes.
yeah.
Because I'll do it on my own time, but I don't think I
Right.
can fit it in here.
Yeah, I'll show you where.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the 2-step process. So step 1 is the CSUS Cal State Apply. It's a $70 application fee starting next year, and that's due April 1st. So you do that one first, and then after that, then you work on your the supplemental application. That one's due April 15th. Yes.
It's $70 now.
Yes.
Or by April 1st.
Yeah, so for the fall,
Yes.
it'll be $70.
Because I applied already.
And you don't
Oh,
have to
you
wait
already
until
did it.
April 1st.
Yes,
Then it was
to apply.
$55, right?
Yeah.
No, it was $70.
It was $70. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it was 55 and it.
Yeah.
I cried a little.
Yeah.
So even though it's April 1st, you can start preparing your application
Oh, yeah.
materials.
I already did it.
Yeah, great, you're way ahead of time, that's
Great.
awesome. That's good, yeah, get it, don't
Yeah.
wait till April 1st.
Yeah.
Get it in,
Yeah.
do it over the break maybe.
You
It was
can
super
work at it
easy.
and save, work and save,
Yeah.
like, okay.
It was
You
super
can view
easy.
it.
It's short,
So yeah, Cal State Apply is super easy, you don't submit anything to it, you just get, it's almost like you're getting a
Just take your
profile,
money.
right? And they take your money. And then the supplemental
Yeah.
application is where you're gonna have an essay, you wanna prepare all your documents, read our application word for word, get everything ready, and then you submit all at once because you cannot save that when you come back. With Cal State Apply, you can save
Oh,
and come
that's what I
back.
was wondering.
Supplemental,
That's
you
what I'm
can't.
working on now.
So but you can view it to see everything that's on it?
The supplemental?
Yeah.
Well, in our application, it shows you
It's
like a
all
checklist,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
amazing how
Got
detailed
it.
it is, yeah. So I'll show you where to find that. Okay, so there's forms to help you with all of this. So there is a Cal State Apply application instructions and helpful tips on our website, because sometimes you end up thinking that you need to submit a ton of stuff and you don't. So download both of those and make sure you follow those when you're doing the application. There's also the full supplemental application, which I think is like 8 pages long, that details every single thing you need to prepare for. Okay, so this is what our website looks like. This is where you find this. It's, the link is up here. And this is what it looks like. It's a screenshot of that website. So here it says Fall 2020 Supplemental Application Instructions. So this is the supplemental application with complete directions. You download it and you print it and you write on it and you prepare, get all the documents you need, right? And then down here we have our program fact sheets for all of our programs. You can see I've already clicked on it, jotted a lot. And then we also, so here's the other forms and resources, Cal State Applied Tips. And then we have the reference form that you need to submit for 2 references. And then here's the prereq course equivalents. There's a whole document. I've downloaded it, shared many times.
Thanks.
So that one, it goes by each of those prereqs. Just be careful. Every program has different prereq courses, but it lists all the possible ones. So just go to your fact sheet and go to your fact sheet and find out which one, what are the prereq courses for the program you're applying to, and then look at that document to see if you can take it at community college, or maybe you've taken it already another place, and so that's where you can find that information.
Whatever reason that you cannot take EDUC 100, Introduction to Special Ed, 170, Introduction to Bilingual Education, you can go to Sacramento City College. They offer those 2 courses.
Nice.
Yeah, we
To
have
get the
those.
equivalencies.
And then also
Yeah.
for the school health, which is 136, that's for the multiple subject credential. So that, there's an online version of that that's listed in there,
Nice.
so, yeah.
Okay.
They also teach that class at ARC,
Thank
and they offer it
Yeah.
online as well.
Yeah.
The 136.
The health
Yeah.
science.
Yeah, okay, great. I live right next door to yours.
Oh, there you go.
They are working on getting 100 and 170 there, but they're not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Yep. Okay, so these are the prereq courses. And so you can see these bottom 2 are for all of our programs. This one is ECSE only, and it's any human development, child development kind of course. And then the health sciences 136 is mod and the dual programs.
Oh, okay. So 100 A and B and 170 are for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
And
then you
then
can
we
take it in the
choose-
spring or next summer. You take it,
Or an equivalent.
or equivalent, look at that document.
Okay.
So these, the prereq courses are not admission requirements, but they have to be completed prior to starting a credential program. Or we do figure out situations if it wasn't possible, you know, we talk to you. So talk to the program coordinators, us, if you have any issues. You can complete it in the spring semester, you can complete it in the summer school before starting the program, and you can also complete a prereq equivalent at a community college or university. There is also an online version of EDUC 100, the special education prereq course, that is at the UCSD, what'd you say?
And looks like I'm taking it right now.
Good.
Oh, there's an online equivalent of that one?
Yes.
It's
good.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
okay.
Yes, yep. Okay, and then the early start, so if you're admitted to the early start, I don't think this applies to anyone, it just doesn't guarantee admission into the fall. You have to do the full application for the fall. Okay, so there's the prereq course equivalence form, that's really important. Here's the admission requirements. Okay, so the bachelor's degree is first, you need a bachelor's degree, and that is through the Cal State Apply, you'd be submitting your transcripts. And so you have to have a minimum GPA 2.67 or 2.75 in the last 60 semester units. If you're close to that, then we can do some probationary admits. And so don't be scared if you're close to that but don't have a 2.75.
We write a special action letter to the graduate studies to help you to get accepted with a little bit lower GPAs.
Everyone has
Yeah.
family,
The rest of your
life happens.
applications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more worried, I graduate in May, so will all of my,
That's
Well,
it. This is the next slide.
oh, okay.
So If you're a Sac State student and you took all of your coursework here, you do not need to submit any transcripts. If you took any courses outside of Sac State,
I did.
then you would be submitting additional, whatever, from any other university or college.
Even if it was just like one class
Yeah.
at a community college, because this held up one of my students' applications.
I have them all.
She
So-
didn't think she needed to submit, it was just one class, but it's like you really have to submit all of them.
Yeah, okay.
And then when you say submit transcripts, is that just referring to your bachelor's degree, or is it like all of?
Everything you've taken at
Yeah.
a college level, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm a transfer student, so I transferred all my stuff over here. Do I need to do it
No.
again?
No, because
Okay.
it's in our system.
Oh,
Undergraduate.
same here.
Okay.
You transferred everything, it's in
Yeah.
our system.
So we wouldn't need
You don't
to.
need to.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
oh, that one, we just had a meeting with the chair today, that one came up, so she was going to check
Okay.
the undergrad studies, so we do not have a clear answer yet.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
that was my understanding. We will check, when we email everybody, we'll have that answer for you.
Okay.
Also, I'm graduating in December. Should I wait to do the, I know it's exciting. Should I wait to do the Cal State apply until after I graduate, so then it's like I'm already in, I'm already good? Or
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, because I'm graduating in May, but things
Yeah.
due in April, so I'm like.
Because now, because of the
You have the
bachelor's.
prerequisites, 100 and 170?
I'm doing one
Doing now,
February.
right,
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like almost done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I don't know if I have I would say it wouldn't hurt to wait till January after.
Once
to
everything's
submit.
already-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if it matters, I can check on that as well,
Because
but,
I let me apply and I'm graduating in December.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know if it matters, but I can check for you.
Okay.
Mhm. Other questions? Okay, so the ones in yellow are in the supplemental application. You're gonna say if you're taking it in this, if you have met the prereq courses, when did you take them? If you haven't taken them yet, are you gonna take them this summer? Like, what's your plan? The subject matter competency for mild, moderate, and mild severe, basic skills requirements, you have to take the CBEST for all of our programs. There's a writing proficiency, so if you take the CBEST, it's covered. There's a list of field experiences. You have to have 45 hours experience in the area that you're seeking. And so if you need to do volunteer hours or you do it with your classes, like you can see 100 or 170, that would help. So you can list those, you can make a table of those. Professional essay, 2 references, a background check, and then after you've submitted your supplemental application with all of that yellow, then we call you in for a group interview.
For the list of field experiences, if you have more than 45, do you want to list like everything? Or
Yeah,
Your history.
You know, put
Yeah.
your
Okay, so
history,
you
you've
want it
been a
all.
paraprofessional, or, yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good for us to
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
The other thing is that, for the reference forms, it's nice to have one that's field-based and one that's from a professor
Yeah.
who can talk about your writing skills and your, you know, your sort of academic abilities, so try to have one of each.
And if you've been out of school for a while, then maybe that person that can speak to your academic is someone that maybe a professional development provider or mentor that has seen you in professional development activities, you know, that you're a learner is what
Yeah.
you need to speak
Yeah.
to.
When you have a lot more than 45 hours, you wanted to sort it out to, to the program that you are applying for, right?
There's a sample table in that supplemental.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
For the certificate of clearance, do you need to do that through the California Commission?
Yes,
eventually?
CTC. Mhm.
Okay, and if you've already done that, you just like.
You just submit your proof that you did it.
And it has to be updated.
Right.
Okay.
The other thing is that we should mention, for any of your fieldwork experiences or student teaching, the school districts have you also get fingerprinted within that district. So you'll be doing it more than once.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost every year.
We're used to that.
Yeah, almost every year.
Sarah,
Yes, so with the field experience, I believe you mentioned like if you worked as a parent educator. Like me, I haven't really done a whole lot of that. I've been working in respite for a long time.
Mhm.
And then as a behavioral therapist, it's kind of new to me.
So
But would that count?
Right,
as
if you're
well?
not working as a para right now, I mean, when you enter the program, we find you the fieldwork experiences. So the
To get the
coordinators.
45 hours?
Oh, not to get the 45
Yeah, to
hours.
get the 45, for the 45 hours.
But I think it
How
sounds
old
like,
has your infant been since you started working with
She's like 65.
her? So she was.
But I do it with other families
But
as
you're
well.
working with
Then those would apply.
Those
Yeah.
would apply
Yeah.
to that.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
The credential goes up to 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
21.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So that would work for that as well.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not only that, if you work in the church, and if you lead any disability ministry, or if you are the coach for the summer camp for children with disabilities, all counts.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not
Yeah.
just specific to
Yeah.
actual.
It doesn't
like,
have to be
kid ed.
classroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you were a preschool teacher, if you're looking for the
Yeah,
early childhood
looking for
special ed
preschool.
especially, that would
Okay.
work. You don't have to have been a paraprofessional
Okay.
specifically.
Yeah.
Because there's most often there's kids with disabilities in there,
Okay.
whether they're identified or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably
Exactly.
employees, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what, the other thing any more questions about the application? I'll show you where to find it, but one more thing is that there's the scholarships and grants. So if you go to our College of Ed website, there's student support services. So, and then on there, you click scholarships. So if you have questions, you can contact Student Success Center. If you want that CVEST or CSET support, you call them or set up an advising appointment. And then there's the scholarships button right here, and you want to click on that. So when you apply, you probably want to apply also for FAFSA and at the same time, and then also these scholarships. When you apply for FAFSA, you will automatically get flagged if you qualify for other grants. So the Pell Grant, the Cal Grant, Teach Grant, which is all our special ed programs qualify for. So the Teach Grant is, they give you about $4,000 a year, I think, and then you commit to teaching in a high need area, which is special education in a high need school. So that is another thing. And then we have Dr. G's Project I-Teen Scholarship for Montsevier candidates.
And that's just for one more year after this one. So I don't know if I'll get continued funding or not, but it was a 5-year grant. So we're in year 4, and so next year you guys would be the last group to apply to this, and I would be, and I will apply to get more money, but it's very competitive, so we'll see.
So I just want to show you the College of Ed website. So this is when you go to CSU, if you just Google CSU as College of Ed, you come here. And then down here, there is the student support, so that's that Student Success Center, and you can get the scholarship links and all that information there. Then if you go further down, there's the programs. We're in Teaching Credentials, so we're broken up by undergraduate, Teaching Credentials, Masters, and the doctorate. We're in Teaching Credentials because we're post-baccalaureate. And then you can find, this is where you apply, down here. This is where you can find information about special ed. So on here we have our fact sheets. We have our degree requirements. We also have all of our email connections here. You can email any one of us. And then our advising form, so if you're curious what our advising form looks like for our current students, like what their courses look like, then you can go to those advising forms. Those are all up to date. If you are curious about, I don't know how informed you like to be, but we have program handbooks. Maybe that's really overwhelming, but if that's something that you're interested in, you would go back and on this, once you're in the Teaching Credentials, you go to current students. That's all the forms and handbooks. So we have, this is our handbooks for all of our programs, and way more information than you could ever. Okay, but that's about everything.
Yeah.
Is there any place you wanted me to navigate to that you had questions about?
I don't have a question about the website, but I do have a question about, there's a couple of us in here who are actually working with our school districts for getting, mine is called a Diverse Teachers Education Program, and it's through Natomas Unified. And they are offering to pay for 85% of our credential plus stipends and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, do they deal with you guys, or do they deal with like, do you have experience doing this?
Deal with it.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
but they would
Yeah.
pay directly to the university, or
Sure,
they would
sure.
reimburse you, I'm not
Right.
sure, that we don't
Yeah.
That's the financial end of it, but I just want to make sure you're familiar, like you guys are working with these programs all the
yeah,
time,
we do
right?
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, we
Yeah.
go out to the districts to meet with them to make sure our
Right.
students are
Yeah.
supported,
Yeah.
they understand our coursework. Like there was a new
Cool.
program specialist in Twin Rivers, I went out to meet her
Right,
and
right.
say, this is what is expected of our interns, we really want them supported.
Right.
So yeah, we have really close relationships and we
That's
know them.
another reason that you should come to Saint State.
Yeah.
So,
Because we live
also-
with them. Yeah.
We mentioned, we kind of talked about paraprofessionals a lot, but I just wanted to say, if you're not a paraprofessional or on a permanent teacher kind of situation, we find you the placements and we try to place you with really highly
Right.
qualified mentor teachers. So you don't have to be a paraprofessional,
Yeah.
No.
especially in that first year, right? So, yeah.
And then when you go out to do field experience, then we also send the university supervisor so that they can meet with your administrators, your own CT, which is a cooperating teacher, mentor master teachers, and work together. So it's very aligned. The field and the classroom here, we're very aligned. That's why our program is very strong.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
What was the scholarship for the mod severe?
Yeah.
So it's
Mhm.
Project I-Team. So
Okay.
once you apply and get accepted into the moderate severe program, then you would apply for that scholarship.
And how much is it?
It's like 10,000, over 10,000 for 1 year.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, so because your cohort will
Yeah.
just be in my last year of the project, you would apply for it in the first year. Whereas
Yeah.
sometimes people preferred to wait till the second year when they were student teaching full-time. So, but for you guys, I've arranged that it can be in your first year.
Okay.
So,
How many of you plan to teach in Yolo County after you are?
Probably.
Okay.
I live in Davis.
Oh, you live in Davis?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How many of, okay.
so
Should
you'll
we talk about the
yeah,
residency?
Yola County
Yeah.
also has a
Yeah.
residency program.
Right.
I think I've heard of it.
Oh.
It's the, is it the internship program that's?
There's
They
two
use that.
separate
Oh,
programs. They have an internship program, but then now they have with us a residency program. And they are going to also pay $10,000 per year for you to support your tuition and your books and your living expenses. And then you can still apply for financial aid here on top of that and the other scholarships. So if you're interested in the residency program, I would contact Matt Best in Yolo County, Office of Ed, and or Carolyn Benno. So the two of them are we just had a whole day and a half meeting with all of them. So we're very aligned with them. So California, because of the teacher shortage, has put out grants to all the school districts, requests for proposals to start residency. And the difference between a resident and an intern is that intern, you're like the teacher from the beginning, you're like full by yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas a resident starts pairing with a mentor teacher and gradually takes over more of the planning and kind of you're mentored very closely with your special ed teacher. And you don't have to currently be a Yolo County resident to apply for that.
I
So
am,
the
so.
I mean, but the others
But it would be open to
Right, you would
anyone.
just be agreeing
Right.
to work in Yolo County school districts after receiving.
Is this with any special ed credential or just
No, it's all three areas, but it is special ed focus, not general.
Right.
And this means like, cause there's at least a couple different districts in Yolo County, so there's Woodland and there's Davis.
And there's also
Five
Dixon,
districts.
there's
Yeah, I know
five
there's a
districts.
Washington.
Okay, so it can be any of those.
Yeah.
So, but you would do your student teaching residency
In
there,
one.
in one of those school districts.
One of those 5 districts under Yolo County. Two things that I want to clarify, that if you get into the Yolo County residency program, throughout the whole program to complete, you're gonna get a 16,000. 16,000, yeah. And then,
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
teachers, yeah,
Someone
you
needs special ed teachers.
we need a
Yeah.
special teacher. And then we can still work as an IA while you're getting through the residency program. You don't have to work full time as an IA, but you can still work as an
As
IA.
paired with
Yeah.
you guys.
We are all
Yes.
doing it,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, and it's only an agreement between Sac State and your.
Right.
And
Got it.
one scholarship doesn't preclude the other, so.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
exciting.
Right.
Go get it, girl.
Right.
Any other questions?
No, thank you for being really helpful.
Yeah. We have your email addresses. I wrote down the 2 questions I was gonna answer, and then we'll email the slides and then the answers.
I have a question. It's probably really only pertains to me though. So I'm a junior. I just transferred from ARC, and I'm doing the integrated pre-credential program, which I did at ARC as well. And I was just wondering, like, I know the classes that you guys put up there, the prerequisites. I know I have to take those, but is that all that it's doing? This pathway is just like giving me the prerequisites. That's all, right?
You mean the accelerated ACT program?
No, for the prerequisites that you guys have.
Regular bachelor's, yep.
Yeah,
The pre-credential path.
the pre-credential.
Yeah.
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 Well, the beautiful thing about it too is it's also, they handpick like courses that would be really informative and helpful for a future teacher. Not that they are necessarily required, but they're a good idea to build that foundational knowledge.
Okay.
But you should definitely talk to
Well,
Dr.
it's
Joe about that.
called- yes,
program.
yes.
Any other questions?
Yeah. I know the application date, the first one April 1st, the second one April 15th, and then the group interview, when is that?
So after all your application materials are in, we get you, we review your application and then we set up, someone in our office will be contacted about setting up interview dates. And those interviews will probably happen early May. Yeah.
And then you will be finding out your acceptance, probably by no later than
Hopefully mid or end of May.
Mid,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you have the VA, the CBAS, the CSAT, all this stuff done, you did all those prereqs this spring, and you applied, what would be the fastest you could get through from mod? You'd still get 4 semesters?
Do you have another credential? Okay, we can talk.
Okay.
Yes, we have a way.
We got our way.
Yeah.
And any of the programs can be part-time.
Right.
So if it feels like too much,
Yeah.
yeah, students are going part-time, they're
so you're
staying.
teaching,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be the 4 years.
Right.
It can be a little bit
It
longer.
feels like you guys really customize and.
Very
We
customized.
try to, the
Yeah.
only thing that we can't always customize is that there's kind of a sequence to the courses that
Right,
are not all offered every semester because they're
Right.
small.
Right.
So you kind of have to make sure you're getting good advising from
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
So that you get the right courses in the right order if you're
Right.
not part-time. Yeah.
That's why we are meeting with you guys at least, once per semester. Not only checking how you are progressing your program, but also we monitor where you are and then are you in the right place?
Right.
And the right
Yeah.
courses are you taking?
And we, after you're accepted, will be, in that same letter, there'll be a date for an orientation meeting to make sure you know which classes to enroll in the fall. And so usually, I know we do those late May or early June.
We do May.
Yeah, so after the acceptance letters have gone out, yeah.
Right.
I went to the credential pathways for classified degrees becoming credentialed through the San Juan district, and they like your program the best of all of them.
Thank you.
Yeah. T. Johnston.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
It's, Bajit.
Oh.
Let's see the last name.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she said,
Yeah.
that's who we wanna hire.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We heard that from
Oh.
Davis as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Afro, ECSE, they're all looking for, even before you guys graduate, we get to have a call from the district that send your list, possible candidates for them to get, give you guys a
Interviews,
job.
yeah.
They're very popular in this area.
And then we have a career fair for just for teaching on campus in like February or March, usually where all the, like 100 districts come and they set up their
Yeah.
booths and then you can go around and talk to different districts. And we always encourage you to be picky because, you can be. There's a shortage, right? So you kind of want to interview them
Yeah.
as they're
Right.
interviewing you to kind of see,
Right.
how
Yeah.
supportive they are and the kinds of teacher you want to be.
Yeah.
Before we take their money, we should.
Okay, well, thank you so much
Thank you
for
for coming.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes,